Good morning, everyone. David Paul here. I'm the Managing Director of VectorVest here in the UK. And the last time I was on Core Finance, I spoke about swing trading of S&P 500 stocks. Quite a few people from that asked me, can we apply this to the FTSE stocks? And this morning I want to try and look at a very similar swing trading methodology focused on FTSE 350 stocks. And as I say, for quick and consistent gains. So at VectorVest, folks, we believe that we should simply buy stocks with great growth fundamentals that are rising, and we want to buy those into a general market that's rising. And that's what I've tried to do in this particular experiment. So we firmly believe that direction is the key to making money in any market, and being on the wrong side of the market is the worst thing that can happen to an investor, but it doesn't have to happen to you. This chart shows the VectorVest composite of the UK. Now, the VectorVest composite is a equally weighted index of all 2,200 shares that we follow on the LSE and on AIM. The candlestick chart is the price, clearly. And down below the price, we have the proprietary VectorVest buy-sell ratio, which is a measure of market breadth. Every day we put a buy recommendation or a sell recommendation to every share in the database. And we keep a tally of the number of shares on a buy divided by the number of shares on a sell to actually indicate market breadth. And clearly a market that's rising on expanding breadth is good. The red and the green signals, triangles should I say, are in fact a medium-term market timing system that we refer to as the DEW. It's exactly the same system as I spoke about 2 weeks ago on the American market, and I'll spare you the acronym. The red signal clearly is a downtrend. The green signal clearly is an uptrend. And this market has been in an uptrend since the 7th of April. And you can see quite clearly in February an exceptionally good signal to stay well clear of the market, which would have kept us out of that strong fall that we saw in February and March. But for the moment, the market is rising. This market timing system adapts to the market very quickly indeed. And certainly if we get another day like the day we saw in the US yesterday, it'll probably give us a sell signal. But so far so good. All we can do as traders is to focus on what's happening now. And based on that chart, the trend is still up, and the buy-sell ratio is rising. So the market is rising on a market that's expanding in breadth. I'll be happier when the buy-sell ratio gets above 1, but it's going in the right direction. So it's safe to buy stocks, and it's safe to buy stocks via this set of rules from the 7th of April. So which stocks do we buy? Well, on VectorVest, we have a search tool called UniSearch, where you can in fact plug in all the parameters that suit your objectives. It's really easy to use, and you can run strategies based on fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and a mixture of both. I put together a very simple search where the backbone of that search is the proprietary VectorVest measurement, the comfort index. And the comfort index is a measure of the long-term trend of a particular share. It looks at the trend of the share over the last 3 years. It looks at the volatility of the share price plot, and it looks at the fundamentals. And if the trend is strong and getting stronger with little volatility, and the fundamentals of the share are improving, well, that should give you some comfort. And it's marked on a scale between 0 and 2. Above 1, the share is trending. And in this particular search I'm going to present, I'm looking for shares that have a comfort index above 1.2 on a scale between 0 and 2. That means that they're trending reasonably strongly. The comfort index is a proprietary VectorVest measurement. It is a secret weapon that finds shares in the throes of a strong trend with one click. Now, this is a search that I put together, exactly the same as the one I talked about in the US a couple of weeks ago. I'm looking for shares with a comfort index of greater than 1.2. And I'm only looking at FTSE 350 stocks because as swing traders, liquidity is really important. And very importantly, I'm sorting those shares by the comfort index times earnings growth rate, GRT. And I'm bringing those shares to the top of the list that have the best combination of long-term trend and earnings growth. I've gone back to the 7th of April where the DEW printed a buy signal. I ran the search, and those are the shares that came out of it. And you can replicate this at home very, very easily indeed. We give you a 30-day trial of VectorVest for £5.95 that you can actually test all of this. And that's what happened, folks, when we actually tested them until yesterday. I think there's a good chance we'll give back a little bit today. But since the 7th of April, the London market is up 5.59%, which is good. But the top 10 stocks out of that particular uni search is up nearly 15%. So nearly 3 times what the overall market has done. And over the last month, I doubt if many intraday traders who are sitting watching charts all day, every day, will have pulled out 15%. Very nicely, all of the positions are in profit, which means that the system is reasonably easy to actually handle emotionally. So at VectorVest, the first thing to work out is the market rising or falling. And the DEW does that for us objectively without any head scratching. We then want to buy the very, very best stocks. And in this particular momentum strategy, I'm looking for that combination of trend, long-term trend, the CI, and fundamentals, earnings growth rate. And earnings per share is the engine that drives the share price, so said Benjamin Graham a very, very long time ago. Rick Graham was Warren Buffett's mentor. And over the last month, that simple little search has in fact outperformed the US market in S&P 500 stocks, and it's outperformed the UK market significantly in Ft350 350 stocks. There are many, many searches on VectorVest that are significantly more complicated, where we can add moving averages, we can add all sorts of momentum indicators to the search, but that very, very simple search, which is mathematically very, very few degrees of freedom, as mathematicians would say, is working exceptionally well.